One of the most important things that I got out of this book was the statement, you must let go of the responsibility for the painful things that happened to you in your childhood and put this where it belongs. You are not responsible for the way that people made you feel unloved or unlovable, ignored you or neglected you, their unhappiness, their problems, their drinking, or their physical, emotional, or sexual abuse of you. If these people are still in your life and failing to acknowledge the painful things that they did to you or continuing to blame you for their problems, you have a right to confront them. This video is about how to confront a toxic person in your life. But first, you need to do the work with a therapist in dealing with the anger that you will feel or perhaps are struggling to feel, in acknowledging the pain that they caused you. It is important to grieve the losses in your childhood that you may not have ever realized you had. For example, the loss of love, the loss of innocence, the loss of trust, the loss of feelings of safety, the loss of joy and spontaneity. I encourage you to do this work with a therapist because these feelings are going to be overwhelming, and it's important that you have someone supporting you in this process. They'll be able to guide you in your journey in making this decision of, is a confrontation right for you? Is this a choice you want to make? And secondly, when are you going to be ready to do it? Susan Forward suggests two methods to have this confrontation. In situations where you cannot meet the person face to face due to not being in the same city or country, or perhaps there's a risk of physical harm, you may want to write them a letter instead. Alternatively, you could meet them face to face if it's safe to do so and have this confrontation in person. A third option is to write that letter so you have something to refer to and have that confrontation face to face, reading the letter to them. The confrontation is intended to discuss your painful past and the difficulties you have in the present in relation to what this person has done to you. You tell them how this has affected your life and how this continues to affect your current relationship with them, and then define new ground rules in how you expect to be treated. The purpose of the confrontation is not to retaliate, punish them, dump your anger on them, put them down, or get something positive back from the relationship. It is to face up to them and overcome your fear of telling them the truth and determine the type of relationship that you can have with them from now on. Susan Forward says she encourages her clients very hard to have this confrontation with toxic parents or other toxic family members from your childhood because confrontation works. She's seen dramatic positive changes in people's relationships when they have had this confrontation with their toxic parents or other family members. Secondly, what you don't hand back, you pass on. If you don't deal with your anger, fear, guilt, and other feelings with toxic parents or people from your childhood, you will end up taking this out on your partner and children. Before you do this confrontation, either via letter or in person, she says there are 4 basic requirements you must meet first. 1. You must feel strong enough to handle your parents' rejection, denial, anger, blame, or any other negative consequences of this confrontation. 2. You must have a sufficient support system to help you through the anticipation, the confrontation itself, and the aftermath. 3. You must have a written letter or rehearsed what you wanted to say and practice non-defensive responses. 4. You must no longer feel responsible for the bad things that happened to you as a child. Once again, whilst this was written in context of toxic parents, I feel like these are basic principles that you could also apply to a relationship with a toxic partner, friends, and siblings. Your confrontation should cover 4 basic things. This is what you did to me. This is how I felt about it at the time. This is how it affected my life. And this is what I want from you now. I highly recommend reading the book. I'm just sharing what I've learned from it, and I wish you well with your decision. In my next video, I'll go over some potential responses from toxic parents when you do confront them.